we pushed through a great upgrade that Pablo and I were talking about.
So it's meant to be kind of seamless, right? It's based on the user interface and the list and whatnot. Nothing changes from that perspective. The part that changed is the underlying data or the filter, the algorithm being used to show these super unusual names.
And the super unusual right here on the main page, you could scroll down to get the last 20, or if you want all of them, you can just go to the super unusual here. And the super unusual, to summarize, is kind of like the top 10 list on steroids. This is like the most unusual names. And so some of the changes that went in there is we talked about getting rid of any stocks that are above $150 because $400 stocks, it just gets way too expensive. I also wanted to remove any names that their options jump like over, what was it, probably over 50?
The filter that's currently on there is 150 for closing price, nothing higher than 150,
Okay.
and vol-wise, nothing higher than 150.
Okay, well,
I can change that.
no, we're gonna meet tomorrow and talk about that. So the vol, it's okay if it's a little bit over 150. What we don't want is we don't want a name on here that pops 70 vol. That was trading 70 vol and now it's trading 200 vol because that move is done. And I think that would be kind of a sucker's play for a stock with 70 vol to move 100%. Then we see it show up on the top 10, and that might seem like, oh, that's a good trade idea, when in fact, I would tell you, do not touch that stock.
But here's a good example, and this is actually something that perhaps us chatting about it could enlighten, not just, I guess, myself, but everybody as well. The reason why I picked 150, Jonathan, is primarily because of the cutoff. If you look at LCID, which just popped up on there today on this super unusual list, it's been popping up all over the wiretapper, but September 21st was the first time that it made it to this list.
Mm-hmm.
So if I would have put the filter any lower than 150, or like let's say I would have made the IV filter 100, then it wouldn't have picked it up. So that was my bias. That's why. Yeah.
That we definitely wouldn't want. But what I'm saying is it's okay if something's got 200 vol. I don't mind that. What I mind is the change in vol. What we don't want is when you have a drawing tool that I couldn't find that was attached to the side of my computer. So if a stock is like this, trading at $10, and then all of a sudden starts trading up here, what's going to happen is if vol was 100, vol is going to spike to 200, but this is probably, there's a reason of why it just jumped 100%. So this vol is not necessarily going to be real. It's just going to stay there. It's just going to then do.
It's already too late, pretty much, right? Like we would have wanted to be in it had we done that signal when it was at vol 100. Got it.
But if the implied vol is 200, and then it goes to 210 and 230, well, this is game or AMC, where it's just getting crazy, where it's not jumping, and this is what you got to watch out for. It's not jumping. You don't want to be in after the jump. We are trying to find names before the jump. That's the holy grail. We don't want to say all of us, you know what I mean? Because then we're absolutely late to the party. But I don't mind this kind of vol movement. This should be going higher. If it's grinding higher, we just got to watch out for something that's 70 vol opens up at 150 vol, and then we have people jumping in when it's no, don't do that.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. Like it's already too late.
Right.
And maybe this is sort of challenging, right? Because like, for example, LCID made it to the list today, today's LCID selling off, right? Like, so for me at least, since it's a I don't know, a name I like. I see this on the list based on yesterday's data. Today the thing is going down, so for me, I kind of felt that it was, oh, I like it, even though vol has been going higher. It's
Hey, Rodney, you're asking, so the LCID move is over. You brought up LCID. We weren't talking about LCID. We were talking about the screens that we're setting up and how we're valuing them. So that had nothing to do with, I think that sometimes when we speak about a lesson, everyone's immediately thinking that, okay, we have to get in, is this move over? What can we do with this stock right now? I think the important message is the difference between when a stock jumps. That's what we were talking about. You know, talking about LCID, let's talk about it. We'll talk about it right now, but we didn't start talking about it. So the question is the LCID move over? Just saying that was missing the point of the conversation.
yeah, even though we're talking about LCID and the question just also happened to be on LCID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, X, Y, Z. That's what maybe I should have done. I wasn't talking about any specific name. We were talking about the adjustments that we made and the reason why we made them. Does that make sense? Now let's talk about LCID.